The College Basketball Experience Summer School Coaches Tour Edition for the Bucknell Bison head coach, Coach John Griffin edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up today using the promo code TCESGPN to claim your first-time deposit. Offer up to $250 bonus in cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm's college football and NFL picks and projections are now live. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM today. And welcome everybody into the College Basketball Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Summer Coaches Tour is rolling along, and we got a good one here tonight coming on the show. We got the head coach of the Bucknell Bison, Coach John Griffin, headed into his second year next year. A lot of excitement. He's coming back home. He played there. He was an assistant there. We'll dive into his path, what he thinks of his team coming back, the upcoming schedule, and all that good stuff. But first, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin.
It's Mac tonight. Come on, make it Mac tonight.
Also known as Mac Tonight over here at the College Basketball Experience. Cheers, everybody. Happy hour. Monday, August the 5th. Start your week off right. Like I said, continuing these. We took a week off. I was at the beach last week, so no summer coaches tour, but we're resuming them this week. We got Coach Pelfrey from the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles on tomorrow, and then we got plenty lined up for the rest of the summer into the fall. And November 4th is coming. It's already August 5th, which means we are 3 months, 90 days away from the start of college basketball season. 8 weeks from today, I believe. No. Yes. No. 12 weeks. 12 weeks. I skipped a month. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I can't do math. Real quick, before we get Coach Griffin on the show, I got to get us paid because over here at the College Basketball Experience, we are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up today using the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit. Offer up to $250 bonus in cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code right above me, TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time's absolute best. Bucknell Bison fan that are watching this, you're going to want to get the Game Time app. Go watch your team on the road, buy games this year. Or if you want to just get some better tickets for the home games, best part about Game Time, you know how you used to buy the tickets and you get an obstructive view? No, not with Game Time. They'll send the tickets right to your phone, right to your email, so you can see where you're sitting. It's the best thing ever. I swear by Game Time. Love the app. And all you got to do is use the promo code SGPN for $20 off first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code SGPN for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All righty, back on the College Basketball Experience. And with further ado, let's bring in the head coach of the Bucknell Bison, Coach John Griffin. And we continue our summer coaches tour on the College Basketball Experience with the head coach of the Bucknell Bison, Coach John Griffin. Coach, how are you doing?
Ryan, I'm great. Excited to be talking to you. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. I know we were just talking backstage. You just had your 4th child. Congratulations. And just fill everybody what you've been up to since the season ended.
Yeah, so, we finished our conference year with a bit of a flurry. And unfortunately, we lost the semifinals up in Hamilton, New York. But what it did really was charge up the group and give everybody like this really competitive energy to get back to where we just ended. And so from the moment we lost, we took a little break, and then we got right back to work. And it's been a consistent work rate up to this point of certain players trying to gain weight, certain players trying to improve elements of their game, and collectively just trying to keep getting better. There's a book that came out in the late 90s. Yeah. John Feinstein wrote a book about Lafayette, talked about the Patriot League as a whole, but it was really around Lafayette's basketball program called the Last Amateurs. And the Patriot League, in today's landscape of transfer portal and all the other elements, we still kind of hold true to that Last Amateur. So we didn't have too much in the world of turnover. We brought in 3 players, brought in 4 players, and our core remained. And so we didn't have to waste that much time as it relates to introducing new elements culturally to our program. We really hit the ground running from the beginning of the offseason to now. And you combine that with recruiting and, having my 4th kid, it's been a pretty hectic offseason.
Yes, it has been. And Coach, let me ask you this. So you mentioned the culture at Bucknell, you guys are used to winning. You've spent different stops there. Let's go to the first stop. You played there from 2004 to 2008. You were a hell of a player, I may add. Yeah, just talk about your your playing career, and when you knew, because you had an extended playing career overseas as well. Talk about when you knew you wanted to get into the coaching industry during your playing days.
Yeah, well, I was like the 3rd option on our really good teams off the bench, So I had a very unique 4-year career here at Bucknell. I walked into a situation where we had continuity, we had some veteran leadership, and we had talent that just, quite frankly, up to that point, hadn't necessarily started trending in the same direction as a whole. So I get there. We had a couple wins and losses my freshman year leading into Christmas, and then it exploded. We beat Pitt at Pitt. They were 9th in the country. We beat St. Joe's at St. Joe's. We finished tied for 1st in the Patriot League, and we beat Holy Cross in the championship. And then we went on to beat Kansas in the NCAA tournament, and we were 14 seed and 3 seed. And again, we were the Last Amateurs. My freshman year, we were the 2nd scholarship group in Bucknell's basketball history. So our best players, Charles Lee, Kevin Bencourt, and Charles Lee's now the head coach of the Charlotte Hornets. These are non-scholarship guys. So really, that type of upset was unprecedented. But it set the standard for my experience. The following year, we were ranked in the top 25. We were 9 seed. And it's really just changed the trajectory of Bucknell basketball. And, when I was here as a player, I was only thinking about playing. I have a younger brother. My younger brother's an assistant here at Bucknell, but our father was a head coach in college basketball for 10 years. And quite frankly, if you're the son of a coach in college basketball, you either stay in, or you either get into the business, or you stay far away from it. And so we were trending towards getting away from it. I played a few years after my college career ended. I tore my ACL. I had to pivot, and I was very fortunate through the Philadelphia Basketball Network to land as a video coordinator with the Indiana Pacers, and that kind of set my life for the next, up to this point, 15 years. And could I have seen that going that direction? No, probably not. Yeah. Coaching on the other side, when you're a son and you're a family member, is really difficult. So I had a great experience here as a player, and I wanted to play for as long as I possibly could. Injuries kind of changed that, and here I am.
That's absolutely awesome, Coach. Just the way that your family, your father was a head coach. You were born into it. You're raised into it. Let me talk. You touched on your Indiana Pacers days. So you were a video coordinator, and people know me as the former video coordinator at West Virginia on this show. It's in my title. Talk about your video days, man, because I don't think people realize how grueling that job is on a day-to-day basis. I know from the college level, I can't imagine it from the NBA level when you're going 82 games versus if you have a really good year, 35 games.
Yeah. I mean, it is an absolute grind. I mean, they refer to the video room, or they used to, as the dungeon. I mean, there's no windows.
Yeah.
You're in a room surrounded by screens. At my time, you have VHSs, you have the DVDs, you have the computer screens. You get introduced to the technology. Now there's sports code. It was Exos before.
Yeah.
And so essentially, look, Eric Spoelstra is probably the model video coordinator. He's the one that's talked about the most. I mean, for me, and I'm sure for you, like, it taught me a work ethic within the world of coaching that I didn't know existed. I mean, it is every day you're responsible for making sure that your coaches are prepared, your team's prepared, opponent scouts, internal scouts. It gave me a huge advantage. I would say from a technology standpoint, I'm probably ahead as it relates to head coaches. I do all the video essentially myself. And that's because I started in the room where I was relied on to get that film done. Yeah. It was an unbelievable opportunity for me. At the time, the idea of a player development coach was not what it is now. So Jim O'Brien was our head coach. Coach O'Brien treated me so well. I was so young in the video room, and I worked for two video coordinators that had a wealth of experience that really poured into me. But I was able to really get on the floor. I worked out, Paul George was a rookie. Lance Stevenson was a rookie. TJ Ford was a veteran. And it allowed me to learn the NBA world of development in a way that I could never have learned without being there every single day from 7 a.m. to midnight. So there is a unique network and bond that you and I share as video coordinators that to many is unexplainable. But it's very real. I mean, it is a very tough job. You are at the bottom of the totem pole, and you're required to do your part. And that just means that you have to be organized and work your tail off.
And that you do. And another position that you're going to have to work your tail off is if you're an ops guy at a non-power. I mean, the Power 5 ops guys do work their tails off, but you go over to Ryder, be a Dobo for a year before you are elevated to be an assistant coach. Just talk about, like, including the Indiana video job, just how from learning how it's molded you into the coach you are today, of scouting a bunch of NBA different teams. Then you're wearing a bunch of different hats at Ryder. Just talk about those experiences.
Yeah. I mean, I have such an appreciation for how an organization essentially works from the bottom to the top. I think what's provided me these experiences is a level of empathy and a level of respect for everybody that works within a program at all levels. But what you just alluded to is very real. You go from the video coordinator, you're the bottom of the totem pole. And what happened was the NBA went into a lockout. And otherwise I would have tried to probably stay in the NBA. But went into a lockout. I had to kind of figure out what the next step was for me. I got lucky. Kevin Baggett, really went out on a limb and hired me as the ops guy. But, back then, the director of basketball operations position in lower major level basketball, not everyone was full-time. So it wasn't a full-time employee. And to your point about wearing different hats, what does that mean? It's like all the Adidas gear that came in, I had to sort it out and make sure it was being branded properly by whatever we wanted on the shirts. That's one. All the travel, all the video stuff, the academic liaison. I learned very quickly how a college basketball program functions. And I've relied on that experience not only to lead this particular program in a direction I feel is the right one, but also helping the staff that I've put together stay efficient with their time and also make sure that we're doing everything the right way. So, I do advise younger coaches, if they have an opportunity to be an ops person, even a video coordinator, it's a very challenging job, but you learn enough that you'll feel like it's very rewarding and you're in it. I mean, you're working from sunrise to sundown because you're helping the program logistically on a daily basis stay afloat. And that's very challenging.
Absolutely. And from there, coach, so you get elevated to rider, but then you come back home, come back to Bucknell. You work for Coach Davis for, I think, 4 years. We played in the NCAA tournament. I kind of forgot about that in 2017. And
We did.
you guys were really, really good. I mean, you gave us all that we could handle. And I mean, you gave us a way better game than Notre Dame did the next round. Just talk about what it was like coming back to Bucknell as an assistant versus as a player.
Yeah, I mean, I had, like I mentioned before, an unbelievable experience at Bucknell. And Bucknell's located in a small town, blue collar. We have great fan support within the community. Still true to this day. A lot of the people that came to the games when I was a player still come to the games now, still came to the games when I came back an assistant. So there's a very special relationship that I had with not only Bucknell as a university, but with the community. And it allowed me to really see that from a different lens, which was super cool. I come back, my wife was pregnant. We're about to have our first child, and we have all these people that are just so supportive of me and now my family. And it made it really, truly special. On top of that, I mean, obviously I have great pride in the uniform. So when Coach Davis was hired and he called, I said, absolutely. I'm in. I want Bucknell basketball to win the Patriot League championship every year. I want us to be in position to play West Virginia, keep it close, give us a chance to win. So I was very excited for that opportunity. And I thought it was the next stage in my career path. And it worked out for me. I mean, this place from a basketball standpoint is very underrated. I mean, we care about basketball around here. We have a great home court facility for mid-major basketball. And now we have this history of success that we can fall back on and point to within the world of recruiting and within the world of branding in college basketball that makes it fun to be a part of. And so it checked the boxes for me. And we should have, honestly, we were really good. We should not have played West Virginia because you guys were in our minds, when you guys come up on the screen, I said, okay, we as a staff said, you're a 2 seed, maybe a 1 seed. I think you lost in the Big 12 championship, you had pros. And so stylistically, we had to take one approach. And I was close with the Hahn family, Coach Billy Hahn, rest in peace.
Yep.
I remember seeing him before the game. I said, Coach, you're going to press us till we stop playing. I'm just telling you, we only have one game plan. It's like when you press, we go. And whatever shot is available after we cross half court, we're going to take it. So if it goes in, we're going to make it close. And we certainly did. But, that team that you had at West Virginia was tough as nails.
Yeah, you guys were underseeded. You guys should not have been a 13. You should have been like 11 or 12. But that was good memories. Let me ask you this. Was it hard for you leaving Bucknell? How special that place is for St. Joe's? I know it's a step up in terms of perception from the Patriot to the A-10, but playing there, having success there, was it tough to jump to St. Joe's with Coach Lange?
Yeah, I mean, of course, leaving someplace that's so special to you, you very rarely get that opportunity. So, yeah, leaving was tough. I'm a Philadelphia native. My father was the head coach at St. Joe's. My entire family's in Philadelphia. And I've known Coach Lange for a number of years. So the opportunity that presented itself fit kind of the next stage in my career progression. I think, and I can say this publicly, I do think Patriot League assistants are vastly underrated in the world of college basketball. And what you see a lot of times is Patriot League assistants getting stuck at their institutions because for whatever reason, there is this general thought that they might not be able to recruit at the next level that's non-academic. And it's completely false.
Yeah.
But it happens pretty regularly. And the reason it's false is because academically we have to literally every stone's unturned. We have to build relationships with the nation more or less in order to find players that fit our institution academically, but also are the most talented we can bring to our programs. That gives us a huge advantage. We're constantly on the phones as a league, and I'm definitely promoting Patriot League assistants here. But, for me individually, was kind of recognizing the landscape. And so this was a great opportunity for me individually to take that next step. I had conversations with Coach Lange about being the associate head coach, which I've aspired to be a head coach since I started this. Mm-hmm. And this was the next stage for me in my development. And Coach Davis was so supportive. And it worked out because although our first couple of years at St. Joe's were by wins and loss record miserable, it taught me something that I would never have been able to learn about building a program essentially from the bottom up. And I rely on that now.
You guys, and we saw the jump that they made this last year. I mean, you guys, that program's been built up. So from there, you get the call to come back home, but this time you're gonna be the head coach at your alma mater. You had the same family and friends that you talked about when you came back as an assistant that were special. Now you make the transition to 18 inches that they say on the bench. Yeah. What was the biggest transition just day to day of being that associate? You were assistant and associate, video ops. You were everything except head coach. Now you're head coach. What was the biggest transition in your day to day lifestyle?
I think the biggest transition is you literally drive all the decisions. You make the decisions. The organization of the program is centered around your organization as a person. Whether that be practice planning, fundraising, cross-campus relationships, you're the driving force as the head coach. As an assistant, as an ops person, as a video, you're kind of getting orders and executing the task, recruiting or basketball. There's a little bit more entrepreneurial element as a head coach that I love. I'm able to tap into this entrepreneurial part of my brain as it relates to branding and content creation, helping our players on our team build their own individual brands. And then aside from that, Bucknell is an amazing institution. So you're also relied on to be an ambassador within the community and nationally, as one of the talking faces for Bucknell University. And I've always enjoyed that part of it. Once my father retired, he went into the world of finance, and I really value just the business side of building a brand, building a company. And so that's been the biggest shift is if you're not organized, your organization will not be organized. And you have to spend time organizing yourself so that everyone knows their roles, responsibilities, and can function at their best. That was probably that was the biggest shift. And it took me a little time because there's so many things being thrown your way. You have a tendency to lose sight of essentially keeping the main thing, which is building a winning basketball program.
Yeah, it absolutely. And you guys were fun to watch because and I always say this with the mid-major coaches is don't look at their record. Throw out the bye games. I feel like there should be a record with and without bye games because some guys have to play 7-8 bye games versus 1 or 2 bye games. So of course you're going to be starting 5-6 games potentially under 500 at the Christmas break. So you guys were fun to watch, get better, finish second in your first year in the Patriot League. Coach, you've taken a bunch of time, and we appreciate that. I want to leave you with one last question. For all the Bucknell Bison fans that will watch this episode, what's your message for them headed into year number 2 with things headed in a upward trajectory?
Yeah, I mean, the message is we have a really strong core group returning, and we finished the season very strong. Even with the loss, we finished with a competitive energy, a momentum that's carried us through the summer now. And we're heading into a period with a group of returners, and it's exciting. And look, I've done scheduling, non-conference scheduling in my role as an assistant for the last 8 years. And I have had a tendency to schedule in some ways too competitively. But now as the head coach, I'm going for it. And it's part of our brand. Bucknell basketball, we played guarantee games in the past, and we won them. We beat Penn State last year. And so, my message is this is going to be an exciting season. It's going to be an exciting season. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be exciting. And we're looking to reestablish that national mid-major brand for Bucknell basketball. So we're playing at Kentucky. We're playing at Gonzaga. We're playing at Syracuse. We're playing at Maryland. We have Richmond coming to Bucknell. We have St. Bonaventure coming to Bucknell. So like I'm not necessarily avoiding anybody. That's for sure. But
yeah,
it's very intentional. You know, if you decide as a student athlete that you want to be a Bucknell basketball player, you're essentially saying, I want to be in an environment that will help me be the best basketball player I can be, challenge me academically, but also allow me opportunities to go against what I view or what that person views as the best college basketball teams in the country. And that's how we're going to do it going forward. But yeah, I mean, a year from now, you can say, was that smart? I have no idea. But it is what it is. You know, it's part of who I am, and it's part of who Bucknell basketball is. So, you know, the message is this will be an exciting year, and it'll be fun to follow us. And that's the message from the Bucknell Bison.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. Proud program, proud tradition, proud fan base. Coach, thank you for stopping by the college basketball experience. Best of luck this season. And, of course, we look forward to having you back on.
Yeah, Ryan, thanks. And I'd love to be back on. You're doing a great job. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Coach. Coach John Griffin, head coach of the Bucknell Bison. And like he alluded to, man, they're not hiding from anybody with this non-con schedule. Kentucky, Gonzaga, Maryland. That's what Bucknell's always been. That's their brand. They play anybody anywhere. It was great when they beat Pitt back in the day in that bye game. And I think that's why we've seen them have so much success in the Patriot League, regular season, conference tournament, and then they beat Kansas the one year in the NCAA tournament as well. So looking forward to seeing year two. They made tremendous strides, probably because they play such a good schedule and they caught their rhythm in February under Coach Griffin in year number one. And we look for them to carry that momentum into year number two. And great guy. You can just tell the passion and love he has for that university. Played there, went to NCAA tournaments as a player, went to NCAA tournaments as an assistant coach, and he's trying to get back to the dance and get Bucknell back to where it belongs, and that's at the top of the Patriot League, and do so as the head coach this time compared to as the assistant coach and former player. So real quick before we get out of here, pay the last-minute bills because we're brought to you by Rhythm. Football season is here, and you're going to want to build your model over there with Rhythm, and please do so by claiming your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM today. And we're also brought to you by Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. If you don't have your trip booked to Vegas, what are you doing? The ultimate contest is a weekend for great time. Go hang out with Ryan and Sean the weekend of August 22nd through 24th at the greatest sportsbook in the world. Promo code SGP15 to get 15% off your hotel room for the sign-up weekend today. And you can also sign up in person at the Circa Sports or with the proxy. Play from anywhere. We even have a deal with the proxy. Go over to proxy.footballcontest.com. Save you $50 with the promo code SGP. Okay, another edition of the Summer Coaches Tour. Want to thank head coach John Griffin of the Bucknell Bison for coming on. Enjoyed having him on. Look forward to having him on this season as they gear up for some of those bye games in Patriot League play. Tomorrow night, I kind of teased it already out. We got John Pelfrey of the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles, and we got plenty of guests lined up for the rest of the summer. Into the fall, we're here every step of the way, leading into November 4th. God, it can't get here soon enough. College basketball, the absolute best. In the meantime, go check out the college football experience. We're breaking down all 134 team previews over there. Colby, NC Nick, Patty C, CJ, myself. Go check out the Big 12 experience with me, Ryan. My name is Ryan, yes. Me, Rush, and Troy. And go check out the FCS experience with Colby, Bucknell football. Let's go. And yeah, that's all I got. Go check out the Main Sports Gambling Podcast for all you NFL fans as well out there. We all come together on youtube.com/the college experience. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a couple friends, tell your cousins. It goes a long way for the network as a whole. That's all I got. This has been another edition of
It's Mac Tonight. Come on, make it Mac Tonight.
Mac Tonight signing off over here at the College Basketball Experience. College hoops can't get here soon enough. You better start thinking about yours. And we are out of here.